Hey everyone, it's Brad here from Yu-Gi-Oh! Team Plus One, and today I'm coming at you guys with a video on the upcoming for Burning Abyss. So Burning Abyss isn't necessarily dead right now. They did get hit pretty hard when they got Graph hit to 1 and Seer hit to 2 this past ban list, but I definitely think they have a bright future coming up ahead of them. So in this next set, Breaker of Shadows, or Bosch, we're going to be getting a new card called Fiendish Rhino Warrior. And I believe it's going to be a super rare, I heard somewhere. I know for sure it's not a secret rare because it wasn't one of the 8 secrets that were revealed, but this card is going to make Burning Abyss play a lot differently than they have before. So I'm going to go ahead and read this card effect. Fiend-type monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect except Fiendish Rhino Warrior. So what this means is you're going to be able to normal your Fiendish Rhino Warrior and then continue specialing Burning Abyss monsters from your hand, and they won't destroy themselves. What this is going to allow you to do is be able to normal Tour Guide after you have a board of Burning Abyss. And then you're going to be able to run things like Mask Hero Darklaw and still be able to summon your Burning Abyss monsters. Another thing it's going to allow you to do is not have your monsters destroyed when you have Beatrice out, which we're going to be getting fairly soon. I heard it is coming in the next set of the gold set. I'm not sure what this one's called. But we're going to be getting Beatrice in there along with Giant Hand, and I believe it's Dvorak. I don't know. It's some rank 5 that requires 3. That was a prize card. But anyways, we're getting those 3 really good cards. And these 2 cards alone are going to change Burning Abyss a lot. So first of all, this is kind of my deck list I've been trying, testing around with. We're getting Twin Twister in the next set, which is also going to be a super rare. It's going to be amazing for Burning Abyss. It's pretty much going to say, go even, so you discard 1 card, which is going to go even, and then you pop 2 cards of there, so it's a +1 for you. And this is going to disrupt Pendulum. This is going to allow you to push through back row. And honestly, it kind of replaces Fire Lake in this deck. I'm not even sure if I want to run 1 Fire Lake even. Fire Lake is still amazing if you're about to get field nuked or something. Like, they break through skill your Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and then your monsters would be destroyed. You can just chain this to the breakthrough skill or something. But, yeah, I'm going to kind of go through the deck. So I'm running 18 Burning Abyss monsters. You want to focus on the ones that replace themselves and also that go even when they're sent to the graveyard. So we got the double Seer, the 1 Graph, triple Skarm. We got 1 Rubik only. Virgil can come out through the effect of Beatrice now, so it's not as necessary. We got triple Libic. This is going to be still really good. You can send it off of Fiendish Rhino Warrior if it gets into the graveyard. And then double Kagna. I am running 1 good and evil, just because I have discard outlets in here, so it seems really good. Let's see. Tour Guide, still standard. Foolish Burial, really good still. Good and Evil, this is just a really good card. And I'm going to go and talk more about this in just a minute here. Mass Change the Second, this is just going to give you more versatility, I guess. You're going to be able to drop a Darklaw, and I mean, that's still a very powerful card. I mean, that's why heroes are still a deck. The Darklaw is actually really, really good. Soul Charge, you're going to be able to Soul Charge for 5, bringing back Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Really, really solid play, honestly. Soul Charge is just a really good card. Double Twin Twister, I've already talked about that. Double Breakthrough Skill. Effect Negation is going to be a lot more important, I feel like, in this upcoming meta. We're going to have a lot of rank 4 decks, and what that means for Burning Abyss is a lot of Dwellers. So Breakthrough Skill is going to be something that at least combat Dweller a little bit. I have Veilers in the side and Solemn Notices in the side to help stop that even more. But we got the 1 Fire Lake, 1 Horn of Heaven. Not too often that you have something that you want to get rid of now, because you have Beatrice out sometimes, and that means you'd have to have Beatrice, a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, and another Burning Abyss if you're going to be able to use Horn of Heaven properly. I'll talk about this card in a second. We got Phoenix Wing Blast, still really, really good against Pendulum Scales and extra deck monsters. Then we got Solemn Notice, really good card. I don't think it's going to be a 3 of in this deck. It is obviously actually just amazing, but I don't think I want to run 3 of it. It gets bricky, honestly. Solemn Warning, just really good. Traveler of the Burning Abyss, this is kind of more of a I like this card thing, so Yeah, I just like this card. Torrential Tribute, just good card. So, Mischief of the Gnomes. This is going to be one of those cards that I think people should pick up. I think it's just a common. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, it's just a common, but you should get it still. It's from Secrets of Eternity, hasn't been reprinted. And what this card does is this turn reduce the level of all monsters in each player hands, even after their summoner set, by 1. And then you can banish it from the graveyard to do the exact same thing. So in your opponent's standby phase, after you've summoned your Beatrice, you're going to be able to send Mischief of the Gnomes to your graveyard and then immediately banish it in their standby phase. So everything they summon is going to be 1 level lower, meaning Pepe is going to be summoning 3s instead of 4s, and they can't pendulum summon. Really, really good counter to pendulum summoning. It's also a really, really good counter to Xyz summoning, which are Pepe's 2 most ridiculous forms of gaining advantage. So this card is actually just going to be amazing coming up here. We got double Veiler for more effect negation, double Maxi for Pepe. That's about it. I just put a Dark Hole in here because that's still really good. There's going to be decks that are out there right now that I don't know of that I might need mass removal. Double Magical Springs. This is really good against Pepe as well, and it's a really, really good card for Burning Abyss. So not only do you get a draw and power through your deck, but you also get a discard, and that means you get more Burning Abyss monster effects. And that's actually just why I'm running it. It's so good. I'm actually considering maining it, but I'm not seeing enough of Perform Age, Luster Pendulum play or whatever that I kind of want to stop. So third Twin Twister, just more removal. I actually think this card is going to make an ST obsolete for a little bit, at least in decks that go plus off of discarding. So any deck that can run Perform Ages, pretty much, or Burning Abyss. But yeah, I got the 2 more Horn of Heavens, just more ways to stop Pendulum Summoning. I got triple Mask of Restrict to stop Monarchs, double Tall Notice. In the extra deck, we got 1 Dante Pilgrim of Burning Abyss. This is going to be able to be brought out against Beatrice, or once you have your Beatrice die. Which, for those of you that don't know, I should have probably read this. Beatrice the Eternal Lady. 2 level 6 monsters, or you can also summon it by sending a Burning Abyss monster from your hand to the graveyard and using a Dante monster you control as an Xyz material. And then Xyz materials attached to that monster also become Xyz materials of this card, which is really important, because otherwise you just get a trigger other Burning Abyss monster effect, which you probably specialed it from your hand, and then it would be no bueno. You'd lose your effect off of that. And then it says, once per turn during either player's turn, except when it's summoned this way using the Dante, so except pretty much the turn it's summoned in this deck, you're going to be able to detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then send 1 card from your deck to the graveyard. So you're going to be able to run Mistress of the Gnomes and send it from your deck to the graveyard for your opponent to slow them down, or you're going to be able to send Seer, Graph, Dante, Scar, or not Dante, sorry. You can detach the Dante, obviously, but Scarm, really, really good. You can send Good and Evil even. Well, obviously you'd send Kogda, then Good and Evil, but you get what I meant. And then in this card in your possession, so even if it's Solemn Warninged or Solemn Noticed or Horn of Heaven or whatever, this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can special, or by battle, sorry. You can special summon 1 Burning Abyss monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So pretty much you're going to bring out a Virgil, or you're going to bring out Dante, Pilgrim of the Burning Abyss, and that's really, really good. Extra deck's pretty standard side that we got 1 Downer Magician still, because Compulse is still a card, Phoenix Wing is still a card. I mean, you don't want your Dantes getting bounced. I'm not running triple of it anymore because Necros is not a deck anymore. We got 1 Ghost Trick Owl card, really good. Got Acid Golem, double Nightmare Shark. This is still the only way this deck can really deal with Cosmo. This and F-Zero Utopic Future. Yeah, these 2 cards are pretty much your way of getting around Dark Destroyer. You don't actually even kill Dark Destroyer once. You just push through it. Then this card is coming out as a Phantom Knight monster. It's really good. 2,000 attack, 2 level 3s. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, then target 1 card on each side of the field, destroy them. So it's pretty much a Scrap Dragon for rank 3s. And in this deck, I mean, it's really good. If you can make this, Like, let's say you brought out like your whole hand of Burning Abyss monsters, or you soul charge a ton, and you bring out a Phoenix Rhino Warrior, so your guys don't get destroyed. I mean, it just has lots of possibilities for being really good. And then it has another effect, but it only applies to Phantom Knights. But yeah, so this is the current look at the deck, and I think this is how it's going to look for a little bit. But there's actually something really, really cool that's going to be coming out of this. So there's something interesting I want you to note about Good and Evil. So this card is used to ritual summon Malakota, Netherlord of the Burning Abyss. It actually names the monster, which is going to be very important for this new card coming out called Pre-Preparation of Rites. And Pre-Preparation of Rites pretty much is the same thing as Preparation of Rites, except it adds a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand, and then if it names a specific monster, you can add that monster from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. So, it turns one card into two, and those two cards are actually ridiculous. So, I don't think you guys probably are that familiar with Malakota, because, I mean, who actually has run this card yet? But you ritual summon it with the Good and Evil, and then it must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can send one Burning Abyss monster from your hand to the graveyard, then target one face a monster your opponent controls, and it loses attack and defense equal to its original attack, or equal to the attack and defense of the Burning Abyss monster. So, it's able to run over, like, up to 4,400 attack monsters if you send, like, Barbar, which is pretty ridiculous, honestly. And then you get the effect, obviously, of the Burning Abyss. And then it says if this card is sent, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one card in the field and send it to the graveyard. So it's going to be good removal. And I mean, Pre-Preparation of Rites is actually just going to be ridiculous in this deck. You're going to be able to add back Good and Evil, or you're going to be able to add Good and Evil. You can add this back from the graveyard even if you milled it already. So then you will have your Good and Evil in the graveyard, and you're going to have a huge monster out that's going to be able to deal with some other monsters on the board, obviously. But yeah, I think the deck is looking very promising, even though it is currently, I wouldn't say crippled, but it is definitely hurt. The deck is probably going to be top tier still after these new cards are coming out for it. I don't see it getting hit any further because this next format is pretty much going to be Pepe. There's going to be Magician Pendulum, a little bit of Cosmo in there, and that's going to be pretty much enough to get Pepe hit on the next ban list. And then this is when Pre-Preparation of Rites and Beatrice will be coming out for this deck. And I see 2 formats from now, BEA might be the next deck that's going to be winning the Nationals. So this is kind of a look for the pretty distant future. There's been, I think on Reddit there was a release for Japan or OCG deck list that just came out today or yesterday or something. And a lot of it was BA. Honestly, still a ton of it was Draco Slayer Performapals, which is obviously just pretty much more arguments for why it's going to get hit really hard in the TCG, because they hit it once and it didn't work, so they're going to have to hit it really hard over here if they do want to get rid of it. But yeah, so I see this being a very powerful deck by time Nationals come around, once we get the next ban list, and then we'll be going into Nat season. So this is probably a pretty late video. I'm sorry that I haven't posted anything in almost, I think it's been 2 weeks now. We've been busy with family. We had something we had to go up for. And yeah, I hope you guys had a great holiday season. And yeah, see you guys later. Bye.